Welcome to our next class. I'm so glad to be here with you once again. In this class, we want to talk about heading, which is one of the tags in HTML. At the end of the class, we should be able to create something like this. We'll be able to know this heading, each of these are heading, where they belong. We'll be able to achieve a goal like this. We're not going to use book because we're not writing any book. But personally, this is what we're going to use. Let me check out what I have here that we're going to use and create exactly something like that at the end of today's class. Let's check out this. Yeah, so this is it. We should be able to create a kind of welcome to code receiving, about us, session one, a profile, and stuff like this. Okay, so this is our goal in this class, talking about how to use heading in HTML. So how do we work with heading in HTML? Well, we're going to take them one after the other. Take it after the other. Let's start with the first one, which has to do with tags. And that brings us to HTML, the second part class of HTML. Now, when you talk about tags, I explained it before now, and tags enables you to work perfectly well with HTML. HTML understand tags, okay? We have a lot of tags that we can use in HTML. Some of them are example section like paragraph, heading, address, highlighting, and so many more. Okay, but today we'll talk about heading right now, and in the next class we'll take another maybe like paragraph and the rest of them. So the HTML has a lot of tags, and all these tags are very important as far as HTML is concerned. Let me just give you the total tags that you can see in HTML. These are all the tags in HTML. But you know what? We're not going to work with all of these tags, but we'll choose the most important one. While others that may also come up on your own time and also know how to use them. Already, if you check, so this just any of these tags, we choose some of them, while others you can work it on your own. Or if you also want me to treat anyone here that didn't treat, just call my attention at the end of the class and also treat it for you. So meanwhile, these are all the tags as far as HTML is concerned. Okay. So having said that, let's now come to today's class, which is heading tags. Why heading? What is heading? All of us know heading, right? And don't forget, always your H1, which is your opening and closing tags. We told you these are tags, and also explained that these are elements. Hello world. So H1 stands for heading 1. H1 stands for heading 1. Okay. So having said that, let's now move to why heading. Why should we use heading while working on HTML? Well, just like your normal setup, if you are writing a paragraph, you're writing a passage, you're writing a comprehension, you always put heading. Why? It makes your work neat, it makes your work clear, it removes noise, so to say, from your work. Just take a look at these section headings. What do you see? You see table of contents. This might likely be heading 1, right? Revision history, the same heading. Approval, the same heading type. But when you come to purpose, policy, and the rest of them, you see it's another type of heading. Maybe let's say heading 2, right? You now go again on in beneath that, you see another heading. Maybe let's say this is heading 3, right? You now come up again, you come back to heading 2 again. You say repeat heading 2. Later, I went back to heading 3 and maybe to heading 4 and so forth and so forth. So, how many headings do we have in HTML? Well, so that you won't get confused, there's nothing like heading 7 in HTML. Heading, as far as HTML is concerned, ends with 6. And these are all of them. Heading 1, first of all, this is how you can code it. So by the time we now go to VS Code and code these things, if you understand any write-up, come over here and remember that this is how you can code each of them. Okay, it's exactly like this, just like photocopy. Copy like this and post it and paste it there. Okay, so but not good to photocopy, copy and paste. Learn it by heart. Okay, learn it by heart. So you see that heading 1, this is how it will be. Very big, very bold. Heading 2, you see it a little bit big, but not that big, like heading 1. Heading 3, you see, is far smaller than heading 2. So on and so forth, you get to heading 6. And this now became very small. So as far as HTML is concerned, we have 6 heading 1 to heading 6. So there's nothing like heading 7. Okay, nothing like heading 7 as far as HTML is concerned for now. I don't know about tomorrow. Maybe heading 7 will come up. Okay, so let's talk about the heading, extension of the heading, like I opened this before. So I want to now group it. I give you an example before now. Let's say from here, from table of contents to approval is heading 1. Now let's assume that from number 1 purpose down to the last of procedure is heading 2. And then this smaller heading here, let's assume it to be heading 3. So on and so forth. From there you can get to heading 5, heading 6, heading 7. What I'm trying to explain here, that heading helps you to organize your work. It makes your website look decent, make your website look good. Somebody can know just the way when somebody is reading. When you get to heading, you know, this is a heading, this is a title, you know, just like that. So don't always neglect heading after you're building your own website. So we've explained that. Let's go to the last one. We're now going to practical. So on this last note, and this is exactly what I've said before from heading 1 to heading 6. And this end heading. So having explained heading to the core and also show you how you can type it out or code it out on your VS Code, let's now go in and work on VS Code and then create that our profile or a kind of our website that I say we want to create. Hope you've not forgotten what I say we want to create. Let's go ahead and create that right away. So let's go. Let me go over to my VS Code and let's start work. So these are VS Code. These are VS Code. Remember, this is where we stopped the other time. So and the first one we say is heading 1. Welcome to code receiving. That means I'm moving on to heading 2. So heading 2, just type H2. It appear for you if you're using VS Code like me. When you type H2, you see down below, you see H2. You see it here, H2. So just use your mouse to click on it, or you can also press enter and it will appear. Play it now. So the next one, let's say we want to talk about us. That is about saving coding academy or about code receiving. So let's just write about us for this. Then we now save so we can see our work. You see it about us. See it's big, but not as big as the first one, which is heading 1. Okay, and don't forget you always have heading 1. Heading 1 always stand for your website name. Okay, so you don't have to start having heading 1, heading 1. No. You have to organize your work. You know your heading 1 supposed to come only once, then heading 2, heading 3, and the rest of them you make use of them. Okay, don't just interchange anyhow. Okay, so having discussed heading 1, let's go to the next one. Let's say that will now be heading 3, which will be a subtopic to heading 1. Okay, so I'll say heading 3 this time around, heading 3. And that heading 3, let's say we want to write session about us. Let's say it's in different session, we have to see session about us. Okay, and that becomes our heading 3, right? Our heading 3. Heading 3, then section. Let's say section 1. So we have section 2, section 3, and the rest of them. Okay, so from there, we'll now move on. Let's also save and see it. You see section 1, see it more smaller than heading 2, which is heading 2, which is about us. Okay, so there we now come back again to heading 2. We want to maybe move on to our profile. Let's say our profile. So I'll now come about to heading 2 again. And as usual, type your heading 2, you know, and this become our profile. Our profile. Our profile. Sorry, there's a mistake. Our profile. Our profile, yeah, our profile, and as let's for save as well. So to make this class not to be boring, I've listed all the heading, but this process, I've shown you the processes. I also show you how you can type it there. So let's facilitate this. Let's just sharply do it so I don't waste a lot of time doing all of this. Okay. From here, I just push it and Control S. Let's save our work. Okay, so don't forget what I just did is the same thing that I've told you, the same thing, just like from H2 about us, you bring it down, H3 section 1, you bring it down, H2 again our profile, you bring it down to our profile, you move again to H3 section 1 and H4, and now bringing H4 diagram 1. So let me just rewrite in case you don't know what I did there, so you won't get confused anywhere. Okay, yeah, this you've seen when I do H3 up to H3, but no, I didn't do H4. So how do you get H4? you just write H4, okay, and press enter, and then you, let's say this is diagram 1, okay, diagram 1, maybe you want to display diagram, okay. So to L side will always be there. So this is how you do all these things until you get your H6, and this is when we get to our H6, which is subtopic on diagram 1. That becomes our H6. So this is how you work with heading. And I also told the importance of heading, why you should use heading, right? So in our next class, we're going to move on to the next one, which has to deal with paragraph. It has to deal with paragraph, okay? So for this, I forgot to tell you, let me give you one clue on how coding can become part and parcel of you. Though we are just starting, but if I show you what you want to do, it's better for you to do it first. After doing it, before you now come to the solution, okay? So you do it first on your own. After doing it on your own, then you now came, you know, because you always see the one I did. Like for example, let me remove all of this. Sorry, I don't want to learn something from here. That's why I'm bringing it out. Let's remove all of this. Okay, I remove all of this. So S for save, everything is removed. And I told that this is what we want to create. I show you clean clear what we want to create. So immediately you see what you want to create, what do? You go ahead and create it. This exactly something like this. Now go ahead and create it. So after creating it on your own, if you're able to get it exactly like this, fine and good. If you're able to get it, then you now come to my solution. You now check my solution and then see how I did everything. So that way, you now find out where you are lacking and it helps you to grow gradually to become a professional in HTML. So I've been explained this. Thank you so much for being there with me, for following me up to this level. Let's move to the next class that talk about paragraph. If you have any question, feel free to ask, comment on the comment section, or join our WhatsApp group where we train people from the scratch on how to become a web developer. That is the goal of this course. And I tell you, we're going to achieve it. I'm going to teach it for free. Once again, thank you for being there. And invite a lot of your friends to come because this class will help anyone you know, including yourself. Bye.